So a couple things. I left my uniform, my jerseys up there, and that raised some questions at home. Why are there some jerseys up here on the wall? Tonight I didn't put them back up. Played it off. The other thing, if you guys are on TikTok, there is my wife put the boys to bed on TikTok. I literally duet and stare at the camera, and I'm getting a lot of hits. I have videos with over 2,000 watches, 2,000 views. So my wife's putting the boys to bed right now, but I just wanted to share that because some of these are pretty good, but I just sit there and I stare.
Yeah, it's Prezi. Perfect. Yeah. I know we taking a dub, cause I've been dying to win. We champions, we champions. Eyes on the prize, cause I know that it is mine to win. We champions, we champions.
Alright everybody, so it's a very special shout out Saturday today because I grew up in one of the greatest towns in the country, and whoa, I can see my reflection on that's pretty cool. So anyway, I grew up in one of the greatest small towns in the country, Carlisle, Illinois. Population 3,000 on a good day, 3,400 I think. And I loved my childhood and everything about it. And so one of the things that was interesting was I was the biggest guy, right? And so I always had really good friendships with the guys that were a year older than me. And today, one of the guys was a year older than me. His name's Casey Jackson. And I think my whole life, I really thought he was cool. That guy's cool. He's smooth. He's, when he's on here, you'll see him. He's got like the cool salt and pepper hair going on, got a little bit of swag to him. I mean, that's somebody I wanted to be friends with. And we had a big group of friends that we all played basketball together. I got stories about Casey when we were practicing at the grade school for freshman, sophomore basketball, but I won't pull those out. But anyway, today, after coming back from Miami, one of the things about going away to college is you miss out on 4 to 5 years of your friends. Well, when I came back, there was a group that they were always playing softball, and I always went to go watch them. And they're some of my best friends on the planet, and Casey being one of them. And one of the cool things about this group is they were competitive about everything. Like, they would make mini triathlons where it was like run a half a mile and ride your bike a mile and a half and then swim across the pool. My favorite game they invented was called Tree, and you and a partner have a baseball and you throw it up in the tree, and there's another team out there as well, and your partner's got to catch it, and they can try to knock it down. It's pretty intense. So there's a lot of games that they've invented over the years. A lot of times Drew Hesker or Cole Wolf or those guys were big parts of coming up with stuff like that. But Casey, these guys came up with this game called Wiketz, and I'm really excited about it because I think it's a game that, as a PE teacher, this is something that I would like to have in class. Instead of lugging out those giant boxes to play cornhole or bags, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to let him talk a little bit about what's going on with that. And Casey, welcome to the show, my man. I'm so glad you're here.
What's up, big dog? Hey, I really appreciate what you're doing with this. I think it's cool that you're combining, this passion, this hobby for, the video editing portion, and, putting that with what so far feels like a pretty kind of positive message and kind of building this network. And I think it's really cool, man.
Well, thanks, brother. And also thanks for the hat and the sunglasses. I know, like you said, this is a Ryan Meyer style hat, and it really is. And this is what I would expect to see him wear after a Clinton County League basketball game, and it's styling, man. I'm gonna rock it. So talk to us about Wiketz. Tell us about the story. Where did it come from? How'd you guys come up?
So over the years, this group of friends has come up with many, games that are kind of bring everyday things into a competitive environment. So how did we come up with Wiketz? It's not an easy question to answer. I've been asked this question before, and I don't have a great answer. I think a lot of it does stem from the same reasoning and kind of the same concept that got us to playing games like bat and ball and tree, and you'll have to ask Drew for the other ones. All these games, right, that we played that seemed, foolish, got a lot of stares at the time. It's typically driven by, looking for something competitive to do when you don't have, the obvious in front of you. And so, you know me well enough to know that I struggle to sit still for too long. And so that's, kind of the catalyst, right? Is a need to want to compete, to do something that, kind of keeps that competitive fuel going with your friends. And so that's definitely a catalyst to it, right? I think, this specific game, it was a combination of that and, just I had some old flooring from when we built our house laying around, and we had some dowels, and it was kind of just, hey, let's see if this works idea. So took some old flooring, attached some magnets to both the flooring and these dowel rods, and brought it to a fantasy football draft. And if there's one group of people who will tell you the truth, it's your fantasy football buddies. Whether you want to hear it or not, they're going to give it to you. And I received some other feedback in some prior games that I brought to that same audience, and have been shot down, and I thank them for it. I think it was they're telling me the truth again. This game, I think Wiketz caught on a little quick with this group. It was easy to play. I think what's key is the simplicity factor to it. The rules are easy. The game itself is simple to set up. You don't need a whole lot of instructions to get this one off the ground and start playing. So what's key here, I think, they were playing it, they had fun with it, it was easy to learn, it was easy to teach. I didn't have to spend 15 minutes explaining the rules, and people had fun with it. And that's kind of the key piece to it, right? Is it naturally fun, or is it just a neat idea, right? So that's kind of where it started, right? I think there were a few phases to follow, right? I work really closely with my brother-in-law Kurt on this. He's a draftsman by nature, so he's able to take an idea and put it into a formal structure, which can be translated by a manufacturer. And so in this case, it was our base, right? So this piece on the bottom, this metal base here, is manufactured by a Midwest metal fabricator. So it happened quicker than I think I'd anticipated, but I think we're still getting feedback on it, and I think again just simple is the key.
See, I'm especially excited now that you sent me the glasses and the hat, because I'm hiding the baldness, and you're sitting there with the Brad Weathers silver flow that I always dreamed of having one day that I didn't get to have. So, man, that's an awesome story of how you guys came to come up with this game and the process of getting it going. So how, for those watching, how do you play? How does it work? What exactly is the point of the game? Again, I love the simplicity of it. I love playing bags, and I'm not going to necessarily say I'm good at bags or cornhole, but I do not like being the guy to carry the big board out there. I always smack it on my ankle and hit that little bone right there, and I end up with a cut or something. And this seems pretty cool and pretty simple, and something that you can have fun with. Talk to us about the rules. Tell us how do you play this awesome game?
So briefly explaining the rules of the game. So again, the rules are simple, right? It's, I would kind of visualize playing, like 3-pin bowling, across from another team. You can play, 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, and you have a base and wickets on each side. One base, 3 wickets on this side, one base, 3 wickets on this side. And if you're playing 1-on-1, you throw 2 balls down, they throw 2 balls back. If you're playing 2-on-2, you throw 1, your partner throws the second, same thing, they return them, right? And so the only caveat to the scoring is you get 1 point for each wicket, with the exception of if you knock all 3 down at once, you get 2 bonus points. It's worth 5, and that's called a knock. So it's like the strike of bowling. Where can people purchase Wiketz? www.wiketz.com, and that's Wiketz.com. We accept, all modern forms of payment, Apple Pay, credit cards, and whatnot. So it's easy to do. We drive all of our social media avenues back through that website to purchase. And so if you're looking to purchase a set, that's where I would go.
And one thing I will say is, I will not knock the job that you guys did on your website, man. You got a good website. I love the video. I'm going to make sure I'm going to put it somewhere up here somewhere right now that you can click on it and go to the website and check it out. Wiketz.com. It's just pretty cool, man. Watching the video, you see the game happening, and you get pretty excited about it. You guys pick some good tunes for it. I know early on in the campaign, you had some awesome like Wiketz player profiles that's what first got me hooked on, like, what is this? Because it's like the everyday man type profile for like a NFL player type thing, it looked like. So very cool. One thing that obviously is shout out Saturday, or shout out is, Wiketz, it's you. And it's this quarantine, man. We got this going on right now. I asked this of everybody, how are you guys holding up in the quarantine? I know I've seen you guys on doing some TikToks in your family, but how's the quarantine going for you? And are there any positives right now of anything going on? Anything positive you can share with us?
So, I think there's a lot of negative pieces to this quarantine. There's no doubting that. I think a lot of people have obviously pointed those out so far. So there's nothing new there. I do think there's a lot of positive to come from this, however. So I think this slowing down and getting back to the basics is probably what we've all heard a lot of. But, I think putting some examples and some, stories that have kind of come to light in my own experience might help understand how I think we're doing in our perspective on it. So, I think of my wife, Kelly, the kind of philanthropist of the family, had signed us up. This goes back a few years, right? So she'd signed us up to go pick up trash in our neighborhood, in our community. And, we showed up to that, and there were a few other families there, but it's the same families you see helping this community every opportunity they have, right? They are the community, philanthropists. And so we went there, and I was kind of scratching my head, like, man, I thought there'd be more people here. And, as we got done, and still, the numbers of people didn't grow as we were doing this. And it just really got me thinking, like, man, we value this as a kind of a core thing with our kids and how we're raising them, and we want to make sure that they're getting these good life lessons. That, like picking up somebody else's trash pretty quickly makes you, think twice before you throw some trash out the window. And so, it got me a little concerned. Nothing crazy, but I was thinking to myself, where's we at? And a lot of people are living fast-paced lives these days. Some of that is sports, right? Maybe it's moving too fast, right? I think it's great. It's a great part of any kid's youth is really being a part of sports, and as they grow older, to stay with it, I think is awesome. But it did make me question: are we moving too fast at times? And so I've seen more people pick up trash during this pandemic situation, this quarantine situation, than I've seen in a long time. So I think those core values that I think kids need in order to be good humans at the end of the day are happening right now. And so I think there's a silver lining. I think it's going to be a gained perspective for a lot of people, and that's appealing. So, I like to look at the positive. That's definitely, where my focus is. And I think we're, overall our family's doing really well. And, I hope you guys are doing well also.
I appreciate that, man. We're doing pretty well. One of the reasons why I do this, obviously, I'm not throwing a whole bunch of money into this. I'm just kind of using what I got. I got my camera up on a candelabra that's on top of a little cardboard box, and I'm just videoing in it, and so I'm doing this for fun, but trying to bring some positivity, man, trying to find the positive in all this. There's a lot of things that have gone undone that I've been able to complete, especially we're approaching a year of being in this house, and so I'm happy about that part. And for me, man, just like as a teacher and a coach, as much time as I spend at the school, just to have time to spend with my kids that I'll never get again, unless something like this happens again. It's been crazy. So been enjoying that. So with all that being said, where do you guys see yourselves going from here? Where do you want to see Wiketz take off? How do you feel the future for Wiketz will be? And I'm planning on getting some knocks this summer. I'm for sure. So that's my future with Wiketz. What's your future with Wiketz?
Right now, I think we're still making sure it's right. I think there's a lot of appeal and eagerness, from some to kind of when they have an idea to want to hurry up and, make that idea famous. And I applaud those that are, able to do it and be successful with it. I think we want to make sure it's right. And, it takes time and it takes patience to get there. I think we've had some opportunities to push it faster, but I think we want to do it right. And, I think taking our time and doing this right is the right avenue. And when we get there, we'll get there. But, I think those next steps are potentially, retail type stores. It's, I talked to a guy in Central Illinois who's building this kind of large scale complex. If I recall, he's in like the Bloomington area around ISU. And so I think, his thought is he's got this, massive complex for, family fun, and yard games and potentially nightlife as well. And so, that's a really cool idea, right? I think that's a great opportunity, great avenue for Wiketz. And, I think that there's those opportunities. Again, there's the retail opportunities. And I think there's also, you see, games like spike ball and how they've kind of taken off, and they're everywhere, right? I mean, our local school just bought some sets to put in the PE program. And so, I'd love to get there, right? I think that's awesome. This game is simple, right? This game is simple, and I think there's opportunity for this game in that atmosphere as well. And again, I think for us, we're kind of drawing out some of those avenues now, but I think we want to do it right the first time rather than potentially race it out there and do it wrong. And so there's a lot of opportunity ahead. Hopefully, I think it's all about what we put into it, and I think we're committed to doing it right. So,
and real talk, that's some wisdom right there, man. Don't rush. Things that end up getting big really fast and taking off always tend to rise quickly, fall quickly, so that's a great approach. I'm glad you guys are doing it that way, and I look forward to seeing how awesome things take off for you guys. It's just really cool, man. I'm really, really excited for you guys and that this is coming to life, and I hope you and the family are doing well, and tell everybody I said hi, give them my best, and man, let's play some Wiketz soon.
Again, I thank you for doing what you're doing. I think this is awesome. And if I have an opportunity to return to collaboration at some point in the future, I'm definitely interested in doing it. And best of luck to you, man. I hope you and the wife are doing well, and the kids, all of your family during this challenging time. And stay positive, buddy. Keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
All right, Jax. Thanks for coming on, man. I'm really proud of you and you guys, and dream big with this thing. Make it happen. So before we go here on Shout Out Saturday, We have our weekly trivia question from our guys at KLTS Sports Talk on Twitter. With the whole Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson golf tournament coming up, we might have a golf question. Let's see what our boy Franklin has going on.
Hey guys, back again for our Week 4 sports trivia question. It is another two-part question, and it is related to golf. In the 1978 U.S. Masters, who was leading Gary Player by a 7-stroke lead only to lose by a single stroke? And who ended up finishing 7th in the 1978 U.S. Masters? Please remember to tweet us your answers at KLTS Sports Talk. All participants who correctly submit the answer will be added to the big prize drawing. Best of luck.
Check it out. That is our shout out for Shout Out Saturday, and it's been fun so far. I hope you guys are enjoying things. We're 15 episodes in. We've got like 110 subscribers. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, help us out, man. If we get to a certain number, we can start, making some money off of views. But that's not what I'm here for. But there are. I can tell you firsthand that my kids put YouTube on our smart TV, and I sit there all day watching these videos with them, and I'm like, I know I could do better than this, and these people are making a lot of money. But that's not what this is about. This is about positivity during the quarantine. And as much as that little voice in your head wants to get greedy and stuff, you know me. So tomorrow, Scripture Sunday, should be good. And I thank you guys for tuning in. And I apologize if this is, the thing that happened was Casey is a top-of-the-line person. And he sent us this film in 4K. So it was like a big file. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get it downloaded on my iPad. And that's what it was. So we got it figured out, and we solved the problem, and we had Wiketz. Okay? So you guys have a great night. We will catch you soon. Peace.
Yeah, it's Prezi. Perfect. Yeah. I know we taking a dub, cause I've been dying to win. We champions. Eyes on the prize, cause I know that it is mine to win. We champions. I know we taking a dub, cause I've been dying to win. We champions. Eyes on the prize, cause I know that it is mine to win. We champions.